Ladies and gentlemen, today I'd like to speak about the journey of Funko Incorporated, best known for its iconic Pop vinyl figures, and what the current moment tells us about culture, commerce, scale, and change. Funko's business model seemed for many years almost too good to be true. Take beloved pop culture characters, translate them into collectible, affordable vinyl figures, license lots of different franchises, produce at scale, and leverage the collector mindset. Pop figures became a cultural phenomenon, showing up on shelves, on social media feeds, in fan rooms, and often becoming status symbols of fandom. However, according to Funko's own third quarter 2025 financial report, things are becoming very challenging. Net sales for the quarter ended September 30th, 2025 were $250.9 million, down from $292.8 million a year ago. That's a 14.3% decline. Funko Investor Relations. Gross margin held roughly at 40.2% versus 40.9% prior year, but net income dropped to about $0.9 million, or 2 cents per diluted share, compared with $4.6 million or 8 cents per share in the prior year. Funko Investor Relations. The company also reported total debt of $241 million as of September 30th, 2025, up from $182.8 million on December 31st, 2024. Funko Investor Relations. The company admitted there is substantial doubt about its ability to continue as a going concern without additional funding or strategic changes. X, formerly Twitter. So we have a company that once captured a wave of kidult collectibles, now facing declining sales, rising cost pressures, and a shifting consumer landscape. That calls for reflection, not just about Funko but what it reveals about the broader industry of collectibles and pop culture consumer goods. Let me walk you through several key themes. 1. The rise of the collectible economy. Funko capitalized on the idea that people don't just buy things, they buy identity, nostalgia, belonging. A pop figure of a character you loved as a kid becomes a shelf piece, a photo piece, even a social media gatekeeper. The accessibility, cheap price point, breadth of licenses, hundreds of franchises, and collector psychology, limited editions, exclusives, all contributed to Funko's growth. But that model also has inherent fragility. When the novelty fades, when oversupply happens, when consumer tastes shift, the model can quickly be under pressure. 2. Growth and scale bring risk. Funko expanded aggressively. Many licenses, many product lines, rapid turnaround from concept to shelf. But large scale means large fixed costs, inventory risk, manufacturing supply chains, tariff and cost pressures. At a time when retail is challenged, when consumer discretionary spending is tightening, and when licensing costs and manufacturing costs are rising, Funko finds itself squeezed. The decline in U.S. sales of 20% for the quarter, U.S. net sales $155.4 million versus $194.4 million prior year, is telling. Funko Investor Relations. 3. Consumer behavior and macro pressures. The broader environment matters. Collectibles are discretionary. When consumers feel stretched by inflation, by housing costs, by other priorities, they may pull back on impulse buys, novelty, secondary collectibles. Funko's challenge reflects that dynamic. Furthermore, licensing and manufacturing challenges, tariffs, supply chains, may raise cost bases. Funko noted benefiting from tariff mitigation plans, but still faces structural headwinds. Funko Investor Relations. 4. Importance of brand reinvention and strategy. The company is in a phase where it must reinvent or renew. Funko's CEO talks about its "make culture pop" strategy, expanding into new fandoms, faster product launches like Bitty Pop, which made Walmart's top toy list, and leaning into trend-based releases. Funko Investor Relations. That's positive, but execution will matter. Being at the center of what everyone is talking about is harder when media cycles accelerate, competition intensifies, new collectibles, digital collectibles, NFTs, etc., and consumer patience is shorter. 5. Inventory, financial health and the path ahead. Funko holds nearly $100 million in inventory as of September 30th, 2025, $99.8 million, compared to $92.6 million the prior year. Funko Investor Relations. Inventory rising at a time of falling sales is a risk. Coupled with increased debt, the company's liquidity is under scrutiny. The disclosure of substantial doubt is serious. It means management cannot guarantee the company will be able to meet its obligations without additional financing or strategic action. For fans, collectors, employees, and investors alike, this raises questions. Can Funko survive this downturn? Will the Pop brand remain as prominent? Will new strategies succeed in returning growth? 6. What this means for fans, collectors, and stakeholders. If you're a collector, you may ask, will the value and novelty of my Pop figures hold up? If releases become fewer, or the company reduces investment, maybe exclusivity increases but access decreases. If inventory overhang grows, availability may improve but value may drop. For retailers, they'll need to decide how much floor space to give to these collectibles when foot traffic and spend may be down. For Funko's corporate stakeholders, they'll need to weigh strategy, cost structure, licensing portfolio, global expansion. 7. The broader lesson. Funko's story is a microcosm of larger trends. The cycle of novelty, mainstream, saturation, reinvention is real. Brands built on trend, fandom, and collectibles face the dual challenge of remaining relevant and managing capital efficiently. Growth is not guaranteed forever. The economics behind it matter. In closing, I'll share 3 takeaways. First, if you're in a business built on fans, culture, and collectibles, constant relevance is not optional. You must stay ahead of fandom, storytelling, licensing, manufacturing, and distribution. Funko is aware of this, but it's easier said than done. Second, financial discipline matters even in excitement-driven businesses. Inventory management, cost controls, debt management, global supply chains, all matter. Funko's current metrics show that excitement alone isn't enough. Third, for consumers and collectors, the connection you have to a brand matters more than ever. If you love a Pop figure because it resonates with you, it will keep value for you. But if your interest is purely speculative, you may face risk. So as Funko navigates this storm, let us watch not just the brand's next releases, but also how it adapts, what fandoms it chooses, how it manages cost, how it surprises and delights yet again. The Pop revolution may not be over, but it must evolve to stay alive. Thank you.